Alright. Welcome everybody. This is a discussion of the alterations of whale songs in Massachusetts Bay based on distance to shore, and my name is Dave Luciano. So what's the issue here? Well, we know whales and many other marine species are threatened by noise pollution, boats, any kind of human activity that's polluting their ecosystem with noise that otherwise wouldn't be there. Noise pollution hampers whales' ability to find food, to navigate themselves, and to find mates. These are all very important things. So if whale communication is impacted by human activity, it could have immense conservation implications. This is just a sampling of some of the species of whales that can be found in Massachusetts Bay: the humpback whale, the pilot whale, the fin whale, sometimes the blue and the sperm whale, but less common. But the most important species, and the one we're going to be looking at in this experiment, is the northern right whale. Very, very endangered species, so its conservation is of the utmost importance. So what are we listening for? Well, there are a myriad of ways that noise pollution could affect whale songs. For this experiment, we're looking solely at frequency. Now, frequency is also known as pitch, and it's defined in kind of physics terms as the number of times per second the sound wave repeats itself. But what does this actually mean for us? Well, pitch is used to distinguish sounds from each other. So if you have someone singing in a very high-pitched voice and someone singing in a very low-pitched voice, that's how your ears tell them apart, is the frequency. Same thing for whales. So the main question that we're looking at here is, are northern right whales in Massachusetts Bay that are closer to shore and therefore more affected by noise pollution changing the pitch of their vocalizations in order to compensate and distinguish their vocalizations from the other sort of sounds they have in their environment? So how are we going to study this? Well, Cornell University set up what are called passive acoustic buoys in Massachusetts Bay. These are essentially microphones just sitting there at a certain point in the water. There were a total of 6 sites selected, 3 near to shore and 3 far from shore. And this was just as far and as near to shore as we could get from the stations that they had set up. 3 calls, the 3 most recent calls available from each site were selected, and the max frequency of those calls across the soundbite that was there was measured and then averaged. So you got one value for each site, an average of those 3 calls, one value per site, and then the 3 sites near and far were each averaged to give one value for the near sites and one value for the far sites. And so the sites we selected were, this was the first near site, the second near site, and the third near site. And then the far sites were far site 1, far site 2, and far site 3. So what does the data say? Well, 1A, 2A, 3A, those are our near shore sites, 0.4, 0.36, 0.34, and the average there being 0.37. 1B, 2B, 3B, those were our far sites, 0.15, 0.2, 0.09, the average of all those being about 0.15. So what does this data mean? Well, it shows that on average, northern right whales closer to shore had a higher frequency or a higher pitch to their vocalizations than those further from shore. Now, previous research suggests that the background frequency of boat traffic is anywhere from 0.1 kilohertz to 1 kilohertz. So, based on the data that we can see, this would suggest that northern right whales that are closer to shore are raising the frequency, raising the pitch of their vocalizations in order to distinguish themselves from the background boat traffic in the area. This is actually good news for conservation efforts, as it shows that they have the plasticity to be able to modulate their vocalizations in response to human noise pollution. So a little bit of good news on the conservation front. This is some of the sources I use just to get some of that background information. I hope you all enjoy.